Hey, what's up? I'm Liz, the Split State DIY, and the channel hit a milestone recently that seems just absolutely nuts to me. 10,000 subscribers. That's 10,000 subscribers, which, when I started this thing, I expected nothing. But it's grown. Very weird. Okay. So I thought I would make a video as kind of a throwback to one of the first videos on this channel. It was either my second or third video. I changed out the tuning pegs on my ukulele. And that was one of my first videos. And since then, the ukulele has stayed in tune beautifully. And it was like a $20 ukulele, which is fantastic. And I've been wanting to do the same thing to my guitar here. And back in February, after I did the one riff a day and everything, I had noticed, and this is always an issue on this guitar, when you bend strings, which is, for those that don't play guitar, if you ever hear someone go rear with a note that's bending the string, so you're physically pulling the string up or across the fretboard basically to change the pitch momentarily because you're shortening the string when you do that, the length of it, so it vibrates at a different frequency. But when you do that, you can go out of tune. I've noticed not always on this guitar, it's pretty easy to go out of tune when doing that. So I had purchased some Fender locking tuners to swap in, and they're black, so it'll match the hardware that's on this guitar. And I've just been waiting basically for my strings that were on this guitar already to get past their expiration date, basically. 'Cause I don't like to change strings before I absolutely have to, because they're expensive, it's time consuming, you know. So yeah, so it'd been about 3 months with that pair of strings. They certainly started to get that grottiness that all guitarists know so well, and I won't describe to non-guitarists because it'll probably really upset you. So I've changed the strings, I've cleaned up my fretboard like I normally do, put the conditioner on it that I do to keep the frets nice and shiny and the board nice and smooth. And so now I'm going to take off these tuning pegs, put in these new ones, and we'll see how it goes. But the other thing is I'm just going to kind of be talking through some stuff with the channel, and just kind of doing like a ramble while I do it, just kind of talk about 10K and things like that. So let's take these off. So I've never done this for a guitar, but like I said, I did for a ukulele, and I actually think for a ukulele it'd be a little trickier. Screw's not stripped or anything, so that's nice. And I'll hold on to these just in case I find, you know, I want to switch back, or just to have them for the hardware. As I did for the ukulele tuning pegs in my little box here. Got the bag with the original tuning head hardware. So I think what I'll do first is I'll take all the screws out from the back, and then I'll move to the front. And just a thing, you'll see there's a blanket here. There's also a blanket here. These are just like cheap throw blankets I pick up from Target from time to time that my cats primarily use. But whenever you're working on your guitar, you want it to be on flat surface, and you want to make sure that you're not adding any tension to the parts. Like if I just had the neck on flat here, it'd be down at an angle just with the nature of guitars, and you'd be putting stress on the neck. So you always want to keep it kind of like this. That's actually a reason why I keep this camera clamp just on the guitar now permanently, because it actually acts as a nice way to lift up the guitar, which is good. 10,000 subscribers. That's nuts. That's so many of you. I've never really talked too much about why I started the channel or what I expected from it or anything. I don't know that anyone cares. It all feels pretty vapid, especially right now, with everything going on with a global pandemic where people are dying every day and getting really sick. But I mean, the main reason I started the channel was as kind of a form of escapism. Oh, hey, just real quick, I won't be long. I'm going to talk about some sad things next. Nothing too intense, nothing too detailed either, no. But just in case, maybe you're having a bad day and you're like, I just wanted to change some tuning pegs, that's fine. I'll put up on the screen when that stops so you can skip that if you just don't want to deal. You don't want to listen to that. Again, not too bad, but just, you know how you're feeling. You know what you want to hear. So just wanted to let you know. From 2015 to 2016, I started the challenge spring of 2016, so it's actually almost exactly 4 years. I just had a really bad year. And I'm not going to go into full details, and actually I'm even going to put a disclaimer up on the screen probably, because it's hard times out there. People might not want to hear about this kind of stuff. But I really need to get a ratchet, because I run into having to unscrew these kind of mounts all the time. I had a really rough year in that I had a lot of death in my life, and a lot of different types of death too. Ooh, here's the first one. It's nice. It's very satisfying. Pull out like chunky hardware. Oh, there's like sawdust in there from when it was put in. I got to clean this all up before I put the new ones in. But yeah, I had a lot of friends pass. I also had an experience where I saw a stranger die in an accident in front of me, and that was I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And so I had this year basically where I was just kind of trying to get by, just trying to survive, and it felt like every other thing, something terrible was happening, because it was. It was constant. And I really was at a point where all I could really do, and this one's really tight. I'll go to the next one, then I'll get some pliers. This one's really tight too. High ease. It's helping me out. All I could really do was just, get up in the morning, go to work, come home. I really didn't have the energy or the will to do anything else. And after a while, like with all things of that nature, you get to a point where you're coping, and you kind of have a moment where you're like, all right, I need to do something, like to, either jumpstart my life or just try to move on. It's just kind of a way to try to move on. And I felt, these people that had passed, I was almost doing their memory a disservice. This one is screwed on so tight. I'm going to go grab some pliers. Okay. I felt like I was doing a disservice to their memory by really not doing anything productive. And not necessarily productive, but just, I guess, living. What's life about? And, why do we get up in the morning? Why do we do things? So, I've described it as almost a quarter life crisis, because I was 25. And it's probably more than a quarter life crisis. But where I just felt restless, and with everything that happened, I just really felt like I needed to do something to kickstart myself. And one thing that had gotten me through is watching videos of people's projects. And it started with like the DIY computer stuff. Oh, there's so much sawdust now on the table. I'll have to get a vacuum. DIY computer stuff, and seeing how people were doing that kind of content. And because during that time my laptop had started to die, because I feel like everyone's college laptop, you know, it starts to give out like 1 or 2 years after you're out of college, and that's when you have no money, but you still need a laptop. So I was kind of faced with like, do I get a laptop or the kind of performance I was looking for? Like, do I build a computer? So I decided to build a computer. And I watched YouTube videos to learn like how you do that and what parts do you need and stuff like that. I'd never experimented with anything like that before. And that's when I discovered that people had YouTube channels. I really hadn't watched YouTube before that, like at all, which probably sounds odd, but I really hadn't. I didn't know people had YouTube channels and that they put all this effort into the production and everything. I had no idea that was happening. I've always found this very odd that this is pink. It also says avoid skin contact. I definitely just got some on my fingers. So I started watching them just recreationally even after I like built my computer. And then that slowly I started to find more channels where people were doing this, and it really did give me a lot of like joy to watch these channels, and people were so excited about the stuff they were talking about. And it was so cool. And it was stuff I was into, and it was kind of this almost kind of kinship thing, too, because, like, in my real life, in my day-to-day life, like, I don't know a lot of people that's into the stuff I'm into. Like, obviously I know guitarists, but they aren't necessarily into, like, the music tech side of things. And definitely not electronics. At that point, I'd, like, tinkered a little bit for Arduino, but not too much. And so it's just interesting to find out that there were people that knew about this stuff and were talking about it and making these like fun little videos. I think I mentioned before, I have a video background. I went to college for it, but in my day job, I do stuff that's tangential to that, but not really. Like I'm not doing creative stuff, which is fine for a day job. Like you take what you can get, especially right now. But I just didn't realize that people were doing this. So, as part of my, like, I need to jumpstart, I thought to myself, like, what do I want to do? Like, how do I want to spend my time? And, like, what do I feel like I'm missing? At that point, I felt like I was missing being creative, 100%. I felt like I was missing learning, just lifelong learning, because at that point, I'd been out of college, and for the first, like, kind of adjusting to the fact that I'm not constantly being bombarded with new knowledge, which is an adjustment. If that was like why you liked college, was learning, it's kind of weird. And I felt like I was losing my video stuff just because I wasn't using it. And I just kind of wanted a purpose, like something to drive you beyond your day job. And so that's why I started my channel. That's why. Just to try to jumpstart things, and it ticked all those boxes I was looking for. So I started it, and I named my channel, Blitz City, because as like a reference to a couple different things. Because I've named a lot of bands in my day, so I know you have to really think about the name, or else you'll be stuck with it and you'll cringe every time the announcer says, and next up we have something stupid. That's actually a band name. So Blitz is a reference to Blitzkrieg Bop and It's Blitz, which is the third studio album by the AAS, both of which are my favorite bands. And I've talked before, I kind of live my life by the DIY punk aesthetic, and just, if you're missing something, like, just do it yourself, you know? Don't rely on others or corporations or whatever to do it for you. So there was that. I ticked that box. And also, blitz is an awesome word, just blitz. And then city, I wanted to kind of touch on, like, the idea of collaborative and, you know, what makes a city, you know, people. And also, I really like the show Broad City. So it's also like a little reference to that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Blitz City, I liked the ring of that. And then DIY, because, I mean, DIY. And I thought it sounded cool. It had a little bit of meaning to me. And the way I started in the videos, and now I can move on to opening up these tuning pegs, because we don't want to sit here all day, and I shouldn't be allowed to wax poetic all day either. This technically could have been a live stream, but live streams are a lot, man. They take a lot out of me. I go on the Adafruit show and tell every week, or I try to at least, and that takes a lot out of me. It's nerve-wracking. I guess that's the other thing, me starting a YouTube channel. It makes no sense. In fact, I hid it from people in my everyday life for a while, because I was kind of embarrassed. There were just like a couple people I told. And also, I feel like having a YouTube channel or saying like you make YouTube videos, it has this connotation that's kind of gross. Like, I feel like it instantly means like you're this narcissistic, awful human. Sorry, but that's how I feel. Okay, these actually mount a little differently. The fender locking tuners, and I should have looked this up before, they have these little pegs that stick out here, and on fender headstocks, like, those are present, whereas with the Dean, if I flip it over, which is my guitar, it's a Dean, we had the screw you saw me undoing, and the tuning head has this little slot here that gets screwed in. That's how it mounts. Whereas with the Fender style, okay, there we go. Whereas with the Fender style, it's got these two things, so it locks in. So as you can see on the back here, I dremeled out holes for these. Now these two came out real nice. The rest I kind of had to dig around a bit, and they weren't as precise. I also had to wait for my Dremel's battery to charge. So had some lunch, drilled out the holes. Here we are. So now we can put the tuners in, which is nice. But back to what I was talking about. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. I'm pretty sure. Well, I know I was talking about like the start of my channel and like my channel name. And I guess like I truly never meant, I didn't expect anything from my channel, basically. I didn't expect anything. And I am grateful for everything that's come out of it. I mean, because of this channel, I was able to write a book, presented at Maker Faire. I've also met some like pretty cool people, made friends. I've just had some really awesome opportunities that I legitimately, I never imagined for myself. And I guess if you take into account, like I told you, you all, what happened that kind of caused me to think about starting a channel, like especially with that in mind, I just, it's crazy. It really is. You know, the fact that for me, this channel really came out of trying to move past some really sad things. That's made it all the kind of sweeter, I guess you could say. Seriously, yeah. I wasn't as strict about this when I started my channel, but as the years have gone on, I definitely only put up content that I am very into and stand behind. I really don't, and I've never done sponsored content in the truest form, in that I'm like getting paid to like do a video. I've been sent stuff to do a video on, but I only accept doing videos on something if it's something that I am also interested in. That's always been a big thing for me, because at the end of the day, like, I'm not making, this isn't for money, this isn't for like a job replacement. It's truly for like exploring and learning, for me at least. That's why I make this video. And I guess time is such a precious thing. And because of that, I always try to stay focused on that with the channel. I mean, I probably could have grown the channel more if I did more traditional YouTube, like clickbaity things. And don't get me wrong, like people have to eat. Like I'm not throwing shade, and nobody's perfect. But and I have fun with thumbnails. But you know, there's certain things that I don't personally want to do, such as put my face on thumbnails. I don't like that. For me, like, cool if you're fine with it. I don't like that, so I don't do that. Like I said, I really consider like sponsorship, and I've been offered stuff, and I've just turned it down. And I'm sure that'll boggle some people's minds that like, and everyone starts YouTube for their own thing. Like maybe you are looking at it for like a more robust revenue source on like the side, and that's fine. Whatever you're doing, it's like fine. But for me, especially as I like grew the channel, as the channel grew, it's just despite me not doing that kind of content that people traditionally like look for on YouTube. I definitely like take like some of the stuff I put out there like it's serious. Like people are gonna watch it and they're gonna form opinions based on what I'm saying, even though like just because someone's putting a video out on YouTube doesn't mean they're an expert. I mean, as you just saw, I didn't even check to make sure those tuning pegs were definitely going to fit on my headstock. But knowing that, I do take like the content I put up seriously. I recently filmed a video, it was last weekend actually, on Android TV and Raspberry Pi. And basically, I didn't think... there was an online article about, turn your Raspberry Pi into an Android TV box. And we all see these kind of articles floating around, like, turn your Raspberry Pi into a... But then, like, don't read the fine print, though, because there's actually, like, a lot of configuration you have to do. And that's because that's not what the Raspberry Pi is meant for, right? And there's proven ways that aren't as, like, headline grabby to turn your Raspberry Pi into a media player, such as LibreLec, which is kind of the base behind Kodi. But that's not as sexy sounding, you know? That doesn't grab the reader, the average Joe, you know? So basically my idea was I would follow along. I'm going to start stringing up this guitar, too. I just thought my video, it came out kind of negative. And I didn't love that. And, like, obviously telling the truth has been a big thing on my channel. Like, I don't sugarcoat things. If something's difficult for me, I let you know. I try to show all the steps to things. I show mistakes. But this felt negative in a bad way. Like, I felt like the way that I recorded it, and I can confirm I was cranky when I was filming it. I just felt it was, like, too negative, and that through no fault of the person who had developed the distro to be able to work on a Raspberry Pi, like, as a side project, you know, they didn't intend for this online magazine thing to be like, oh, you can just have Android TV run on your Raspberry Pi. And I felt like the way that I was talking... Oh, that sounds nice. That I was talking about it, it just felt disparaging. And, like, I edited it and everything. But I don't know, I didn't feel good about it. And, like, it was ready to go Wednesday. And I waited. And at the end of the day, I just didn't feel good about it. So I didn't upload it. So, with this video, I just felt like I was sending a wrong message in that it just felt really negative, and I didn't want to put that out there. So, you'll never see it. Because there's just other stuff I could be doing. I could be doing, you know, a nice little wholesome video like this, just putting on new tuners and changing my guitar strings. Yes. All sorts of things to do. And like, yeah, I put in the time and I recorded the video, but it was like a screen capture video, so it took as long as the process did, which was like about an hour. It was even easier to edit. And yeah, but that's not the first time I've done that. There's a few videos I filmed the whole thing, I've edited it, and then I go, you know, I don't want to put that up. And that's just me. But I think in general, I'd like to see content put it in the wrong. This is the A string, not the B string. I think in general, I'd like to see content creators in all spaces, but, you know, especially the maker space, just be a little bit more responsible in the stuff they put up. You know, just think it through. You know, something might seem like a good idea at the time, and then you get in there and you start editing it and you start thinking about it and you go, you know, this is going to get ripped, or, you know, is this the message that I want to put out there? Is this what I want, how I want people to be approaching things with negativity and everything? Because there's enough of that in general, but especially right now. But as I said, like, not everything's sunshine and unicorns. And if I spot a problem, I do like to call it out. But, you know, there's ways to do that. But I guess back to Blitz City things. The Xylopie is coming along. It's morphed a bit. I'm probably going to do an update video. Because now, there's going to be 2 versions. I'm going to do a version that's using an itsy bitsy Bluefruit, so it's the Bluetooth board from Adafruit that you can do CircuitPython on. And it's going to be an Adafruit project, and it's going to be using the Bluetooth MIDI library, and Nay's helping out with the mounting stuff, which was the next step. And he did such an amazing job. Like, it was like he literally went into my brain, took what I was thinking, and modeled it, and I didn't even have to, like, really tell him what I was thinking. He just, like, did it. Because he got mad skills like that. So I'm working on that right now. I have a little bit of a hiccup, though. Not Circuit. Circuit's working great. Still using the Muxes and the Darlington drivers. But my printer is borked. My 3D printer is borked. So I'm trying to get that up. At least I ordered some replacement parts. Basically the bed has gone fuka. The heated bed basically had thermal runaway, but then, like, upon further inspection, like, there's just, the printer's older now. It's like 3 years old. And the bed's wires have seen some use. So, and my bed has also always been a little warped. So I ordered a new bed. Until then, though, I've got, and I hated ordering the bed, man, because the only place, at least that I could find, that you could really get a Prusa bed was from Prusa, which annoyed me. Annoyed me big time. But I also, like, I take 3D printing really seriously. I wanted to get, like, a legit replacement. So I ordered it from Prusa, and I'm trying to, like, limit my orders during this time. So I didn't love that, and I feel guilty about it. It's going to take a while to ship. So the other thing I ordered, which I also felt guilty about, because I don't want to order things right now, were some wire crimps, because I can at least get wiring for the bed, like, kind of like a holdover. So I'm waiting on that to come in. I didn't have any crimps. I've never crimped anything before. So I'm waiting on that, and then hopefully my printer will at least be able to run. I'm also playing with the idea of maybe just running it without the heated bed. I do have a glue stick, so I could do that. Because PLA is technically supposed to be able to print without a heated bed, so that could be a fun experiment. I'm not going to do a video on that because there's enough bad 3D printer advice out there. I don't need to add to it. I just don't need to add to it. Because I don't even feel 100% comfortable with what I'm trying to do, so... And that goes back to, like, that would be an amazing, like, oh man, 3D printer woes, click on that. But I don't want to put that out there, man. Ugh. I'd rather put new tuning pegs on my guitar. But the Xylo Pi, like, it's coming along. I'm really excited. But as I said, like, so now this version is using, like, the Bluetooth MIDI stuff, which is cool. I still want to do a Xylo Pi, like, as I've been going along, just because at this point, it's, yes, at this point, do you want to say hi to Winnie? Yeah, I know. Oh, it's a Winnie Boo Boo Bear. Yeah. I wouldn't have picked her up if she usually likes being held, so she seems okay. If she starts to struggle, then I'll put her down. Yeah. Oh. Yeah? I know, you don't like the table messy. I'm sorry. Oh, this is awesome. So, bye-bye. You were graced with a Winnie. So I still want to do the Raspberry Pi version, though, with the hardware MIDI. Because. And I'm going to do that after, and that will involve PCBs and everything. But there'll basically be two versions, which I'm excited about. I mean, also, like, my reasoning for that is, first of all, I'm excited to work with the Bluetooth MIDI library for CircuitPython, because it's new, and to have this kind of example for people that want to use it, I think it'll be cool, because it's using MIDI out rather than MIDI in. I think that's right. Yeah, because you're sending MIDI out from the itsy bitsy. So to have an example like this, I think will be helpful for people. At the same time, the reason why I still want to do a Raspberry Pi version is there isn't a lot of MIDI stuff with the Pi. So to have like a kind of a standalone Python thing with the Pi, I think that would be really cool. And a good example for people to reference for their own projects. That will often be why I like choose to do certain projects, is like people will be able to build on it. That's why if you've ever looked at one of my projects and thought like, well, you could have gone further, like totally. But I'm sure there's people out there that might be like more interested in it to go further and have the time, so they can kind of like build on what I did, or improve upon if you have more skills than me, which you probably do. What else? I've started playing with the Teenage Engineering pocket operators. I've been putting some jams up on Diode Zone, my fun place to post things that I don't want on YouTube, but still want to post. So there's that, and so I think there'll be a couple pocket operator like related projects. I want to do a passive mixer, so the way pocket operators work is so you can sync them together using that headphone output, and so what happens is there is a sync signal sent along with the audio. You can split out the sync and the audio signal so that they're separate. So I want to do that with a passive mixer because you don't need it to be powered. So I think that'll be a fun little project, and that could also be a PCB project. With like a fun little housing. I want to use like some mini sliders. I have a couple of them that I ordered from Adafruits in the before time. So I think that'll be fun. And I also just want to be like using like more... I've been doing a lot of music stuff as I string a guitar, and I know that isn't what I've always done. I hope people aren't bored of it, but as I've also said, like, this channel is purely exists for me to like explore and learn and share knowledge with, but this is what I'm interested in exploring right now. These music things. Because also, I found it's been great for my mental health to get back into music. I feel a lot more fulfilled. Doing the one riff a day in January, that was like amazing, and got me back on the horse with guitar, and tying it into like what I've done with electronics in recent years. That's also been like really cool. It's kind of opened up this world that I definitely want to keep looking into. And like, how kismet to get back into guitar right before a global pandemic strikes. Because if I'm having a hard day, because I am working remotely, and that's all I'll say about that. I'm fortunate enough to be working remotely, but there's so much that comes with that, and just the worry also of just everyday life. If I'm having a hard day, I can just pick up my guitar, play for like a half hour, and feel better. And I do, like, it renews me in this really awesome way. So I'm so glad that I have that right now. And that I brought it back into my life before all this got started. Based on how these strings sound tuned, I'm excited to hear how they sound actually like amped up and everything. I might throw a little clip in at the end for you to hear. I'll probably be wrapping up the video proper momentarily because we've been doing a lot of chatting. But I'm also glad to have like this YouTube channel to post on too, because one of my goals that I said when I started this was to help give me a sense of purpose after having those losses, and it definitely helps in these times too. Oh man. I'm glad I have that. But I also don't think I'm constantly working on content, because I get a lot of comments from people sometimes just on social media in general, like, I don't know how you get time to do this, yada yada yada. I'm not constantly doing it, first of all. But also, like, as I've said, the stuff I look into, like, I'm super into, like, that's what I'm definitely one of those people that will, like, I think the proper name is called hyperfocus. I'll hyperfocus on things, and that's not exactly healthy. But that's how I get a lot of my stuff done. I completely throw myself into it. And that's why. But I mean, then I'll sometimes go 2 weeks where I don't work on a video. I'll often film a couple videos at once. And then I'll edit them so that they're going up. And I kind of work that way. But I think that's going to do it for this video. The guitar is strung. The tuners are in. We've chatted a bit. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed, all over 10,000 of you now. I'm serious when I say that boggles my mind. I don't think you understand how much that boggles my mind. It's just... it's too much, man. It's too much. I'm gonna keep trying to make videos the way I always have. I hope they brighten your day, because making them brightens mine. And I recognize that I sound very corny, like a PBS children's show outro, but here we are. Thank you for watching, especially if you made it all the way through this. I feel like it's going to be a long boy. Consider subscribing for more content that's a little bit... oh, hold on, my cat just had a fight. More content, always coming. Consider subscribing, more content that's not exactly like this, but probably getting the idea. And until next time, this is Blitz City DIY.